It's really interesting to see the intersections of culture and religion in the game of basketball. I've never seen that before. I thought the creator, who was also like the director and the editor, did a really great job of like intertwining all of these different narratives that center around him and his relationship to the sport. And also the editing I thought was really excellent about when we would center on certain places or certain themes and then watch them throughout time. There are certain arenas and basketball courts that we see like across 3 or 4 different layers of time, which I thought was really smart and did a really great job of furthering the theme and making sure that we understood how deep the roots of this sport go into this community and how it affects all the people that he interviewed. I loved, and speaking of the interviews, and the interviews are really effective, going from a wide scope to a small scope, like interviewing close friends, family. The interview with his father was fascinating, and I thought that where it came, the narrative structure was really interesting. And then going from that to coaches and just children. So a lot of the introspective questions that he had about his own childhood and his own relationship with basketball, to juxtapose that with speaking to children who had that same drive and that same passion, was really endearing and almost kind of heartbreaking, which I think was the tone that the creator was trying to strike. And I think that all of that with the interspersed clips of the grocery games to show that it's still very much alive, and the passion and the drive to be a part of the sport, even if it's not at the professional level. Um, to show the grocery games throughout, I thought was really great. Was a really great grounded narrative storytelling device that I think really helped the narrative have a clean arc, and made for a really, really interesting protagonist.
The passion for basketball really comes through from everyone interviewed and all the different perspectives, and that was really refreshing to see. I definitely felt a sense of curiosity at the start about why one of the people in the documentary wasn't a professional basketball player, and I thought the way that that question kept coming up with each sort of chapter of the players and fans' life was really a great way to kind of explore that element of suspense. Definitely a great documentary for anyone that enjoys sports, and also just friendship and the way that basketball was a path of exploration for both culture and faith and sports in this documentary.
I think it's really easy for this sort of deeply personal story to feel kind of inconsequential to viewers who aren't, directly related to it. But I think you do just an absolutely beautiful job of interweaving this personal story, into a broader cultural context. I love the way that basketball is juxtaposed against Orthodox Judaism as like another religion. I think you say that explicitly a couple times. I thought that the pacing of this was incredible. I loved how you gave every aspect of it time to unspool, but in a way where nothing felt extraneous or, like it was still focused even though you gave everything the time it needed. Um I thought that the framing device of, using sort of parsing the title and, delving into each word was really effective, and just a really great way to sort of keep the central thesis of the documentary in mind the whole time.
I really liked the story because it shows a focus on people who didn't necessarily make it into the spotlight, even though they had an amazing passion for what they were doing, and how different things became a priority, or how not all the pieces fell into place for them, such as the school or the religion kind of kept them from obtaining their goal. But the one thing I kind of did take away on my own was that we can't really blame people or things for why we didn't go somewhere, because you can't control that in a way. So it's like you're going to live with regret, or some kind of blame and unforgiveness. But there are things that come into play during your life that may move you in different directions, like the school or the religion, but yet you can learn other things. And I think we focus so much on people being in the spotlight that we forget about the people who aren't, and that they also, have a huge part to play in with passion, things they're passionate about and love to do. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to become famous and be in the spotlight, but they do have a part to play in other people's lives, I guess is what I'm saying. Like the coaching and you know, being a good example for the kids that are coming up, the next generation, and having an effect on them.
I think it really brought up this interesting question of why we as humans make certain choices or when other people make choices for us. And I think a lot of times we tend to reflect back and think about all the things we could have done. So I really enjoyed this very personal look at his life and how all of these different factors kind of played a role in why he is not a basketball player. I especially liked how his religion was talked about so much and how being an Orthodox Jew was kind of put against being a basketball player. I thought that was really interesting.
Interesting look into Israeli basketball players. It was so interesting just seeing how much passion was there. I'll be honest, it wasn't something I was expecting. Just that deep love for basketball.